Hey guys, welcome back. Hallie here at High Octane Cards with our recap video for the Blue-Emu Maximum Pain Relief 500 that was held yesterday at Martinsville. Of course, it was scheduled to go off Saturday night, but rain postponed it after about 39 laps or so. So they did the conclusion of the race yesterday. You've seen that on FS1. There were 15 cautions total. Of course, this includes stage breaks and red flag for rain, everything, and the red flag for the big crash. But 15 yellows for a total of 102 laps. Margin of victory was 1.972 seconds, which we'll get to the top 10 here in a second. There were 18 lead changes among 7 drivers. Your top 10, of course, winner was Martin Truex Jr. Chase Elliott was second. Chase Elliott was second. Denny Hamlin was third. Of course, Denny led the most laps, 276 laps led yesterday. William Byron was fourth, Kyle Larson fifth. 6 through 10, you had Joey Logano, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Kevin Harvick, and Kyle Busch. That rounded out your top 10. Ryan Blaney led the second most laps, had a pit penalty late in the race, finished 11th. Blaney did lead 157 laps. Bubba Wallace, I believe he ended up 16th and led 23 laps. That is a career high for laps led in one race for Bubba Wallace. This is your playoff points going into next week. Of course, next Sunday will be the Toyota Owners 400 at Richmond. Looking forward to that race. Richmond usually puts on a good race. But your top 10, and this is your playoff standings, not your current live points leaderboard, but your playoff standings as of right now. Just your top 10 is Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, William Byron is your top 5. 6 through 10 is Christopher Bell, Michael McDowell, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and Kevin Harvick. Of course, this is how they would be seeded if the playoffs started tomorrow, but of course this will always change from week to week based on your playoff points that you get, your bonus points from your stage wins and your race wins, and just in general your points position relative to people above or below you. Kurt Busch is currently holding down the last playoff spot, and he has 5 points to the good over Alex Bowman. I did fail to mention in the preview video, we had a couple milestone starts yesterday. Denny Hamlin, of course, they mentioned on the race a couple times that he made his 550th career start. I did not hear them make mention, but Ricky Stenhouse did make his 300th career start. I didn't see any, I did not see any upcoming milestone starts. Like I said, I do it in 25s. If somebody makes their 120th start, that's no big deal. 125 or 275 or what have you. I like the 25-point increments. I think that's fair enough because you only get one of those once every year per driver, basically, unless they start the year because there's only 36 races. So if you start at if you start at 224 starts, then you're going to have 2 of those. But generally, most drivers are only going to have 1 of those each year. So overall, I didn't do too bad with my favorites picks, I don't think. Logano ended up 6th, Chase was 2nd, Harvick was 9th, and Hamlin was 3rd with most laps led. So those were my favorites picks out of the race. Of course, I did not choose Martin Truex Jr., even though I'd mentioned he'd won 2 out of the last 3. Now it's 3 out of the last 4 at Martinsville. My dark horse picks, I did have Stenhouse originally, I told you about. Larson, I took out Stenhouse, put Larson. Larson did end up 5th. Newman had a good run, so did Jones and Ryan Preece, but all 3 of those guys were involved in multiple accidents throughout the day, and their runs were not that good. Michael McDowell in my long shot category, he was taken out in that big accident on the backstretch. Eric Almirola, I believe he had a top 20 run despite being involved in a number of crashes and having his hood removed after a restart crash. Ross Chastain had a top 15 finish, I believe, and Matt DiBenedetto came home 12th, so I didn't do too bad in the long shot category. My dark horse ones, other than Larson, I just really kind of had a rough day there. But overall, my grade for the race, I'd give it about an A-, B+, maybe a 8 out of 10, somewhere in that neighborhood. I thought it was an entertaining race. Definitely turned out better, I think, in the daytime than it did the nighttime because the consistent when you run a night race, typically the track conditions are going to stay consistent. The only thing that's going to change is the air temperature because your lighting's not going to change. Of course, yesterday they did go from the full sunlight to running into the evening hours, so it was starting to lose a little bit of that heat from the sun. So the track did offer some changes. I think that kind of bit Denny Hamlin a little bit at the end and favored Martin Truex Jr. So overall, it was a very good race. I thought Fox did a very good job of showing, most everybody through the field. I know that they're not going to show everybody, like, if you go back to ESPN, if you watch some races from the 1986 through 87, 88, 89 seasons, especially ESPN, and then TNN would do it later on. They would do it through the field, where they'd take 5 or 10 minutes of airtime when you had a lull in the race, and you'd just review every car on the track, maybe follow each guy around for a lap, talk about their season to date, their sponsor, maybe that has a different sponsor for that week or whatever, give them a little bit of airtime. But, this day and age, the network's running everything. That just doesn't happen. But overall, I thought it was a good quality broadcast. They had plenty of onboard cameras that caught plenty of the action, especially with that big wreck on the backstretch basically turned the backstretch into a parking lot. I know Daniel Suarez was less than happy with the safety crew at Martinsville after they basically sat and watched his car burn down after the accident. But, it is what it is. When you have a pit wall that wraps almost halfway around the track, the fire trucks cannot just get there right immediately. That's why I don't like these tracks that have the short tracks. Bristol's good because it has the front and the back pits. I think Martinsville should have maintained that instead of trying to do the wraparound pits. I just don't like that. I think they could have done what Bristol did and just followed the two pit road rule under caution. Under green flag, you only have to come down the pits wherever you're at. But whatever, it is what it is. I know a lot of people were upset that the fact that Martinsville did take out the grass in the corners. I can kind of understand why they did it, but at the same time, it's part of what made Martinsville Martinsville. You had the curb, you had the grass. Now it's all asphalt. I get that. You still have the curb to deal with. So that's a unique aspect that Martinsville has. It doesn't have an apron. It has that curb. So it creates another element that the drivers have to be mindful of for 500 laps. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Tomorrow's video, I've got a little bit of a mail day, and we'll open up something pack-wise. Not sure what we'll do just yet, but we'll have something ready for you guys. So this is my review of the Blue-Emu, that's the longest title, the Blue-Emu Maximum Pain Relief 500 at Martinsville. So enjoy the rest of your Monday. Thanks for watching, guys.